Happy moment to everyone. This is Sjctnc-Perkishsalomina, Assistant Professor from Department of Social Work, St. Joseph College of Arts and Science. In this video, we are going to learn important concepts of sociology. The first concept of this video is norms. Norms refers to a group shared standard of behavior, which means a standard of behavior which is followed by a particular group. For example, if you take any classroom practice, they will be having a particular norms, like they have to be present on the time. Likewise, they have to respect their teachers. Likewise, we will be having a particular standardized behavior based on the institution. Young and Mack have given the definition for norm. They define norm as group shared expectation, which means in a group they share some expectations, and from that they come to a rules, which means from a group they form their own rules and regulations for their group. And according to Robert Berefstadt, a norm is a rule or a standard that governs our conduct in the social situations in which we participate. As an individual and human being, we participate in all the kind of social situations in the society. For example, we participate as a member of a family, and we participate as a student, and we participate as a public in a social situations. So in all the situations, we will be having some kind of conduct. It should be followed, right? So kind of rules and kind of expected behavior we are expected to follow. So those are called as norms. And in brief, these are concrete rules that guides people's action. For example, a person what should do and what should not do. Likewise, the rules and regulations which guide the people for their upcoming lives. And it should be based on the culture, and it can be based on their expectation of the group. These norms are unwritten one, which means it is informal in nature. It is based on their own culture of the society, and it is based on the particular group and their expectation. For example, here we can see some example of norms in the last line. Not killing others, and children obeying their parents, and we can also add respecting the elders and helping those who are in need. So these are important norms which we follow in our day-to-day life. The next concept is values. In sociology, values refers to the standards of people they used to assess the desirability, goodness and beauty of the society through the people's behavior. And sociologists acknowledge that values are culturally defined, and it can vary within and between the cultures, because values emerge within the cultural groups, and we tend to study them as a shared conceptions of what is considered good, desirable and proper, or bad, undesirable and improper. So value means a kind of behavior or set of behaviors and attitude which is desired, which means accepted by the society. And many sociologists, particularly the functionalists such as Durkheim and Merton, they believe that values have a key purpose for functioning in societies. The values can shape moral norms. The value can also influence social structure, and values help the individuals to form their own personal beliefs and behavior. For example, we each and every individual, we will be having our own personal values. For example, treating other gender equal. So this value will vary from one individual to the other individuals. And value also range from one concept to the other concept. Likewise, honesty, integrity, social inequality, freedom and social justice. These are different values which talks about different things. For example, social equality, it talks about the equal between gender, between class and between caste. And freedom, it is also talks about freedom in the institution and in the family. And social justice, it is talking about social justice to all the people. There are different types of values like cultural values, social values, personal values, moral values, aesthetic values, family values, political values and economic values. Let us understand what is the difference between norms and values. Basically, norms are specific behavioral standards or rules in a society, while values are overarching principles that determine what is considered good or desirable. We see separately norms. Norms are shared rules and expectation guiding behavior in a society or group. For example, maintaining social order, defining social values and shaping our interactions. There are 4 types of social norms, that are folkways, mores, taboos and laws. Norms can vary across time, culture and even subgroup. So within the group, norms can vary and it will change over a period of time. We change to values. So values are beliefs that we have about what is important both to us and to society as a whole. So we consider society as a mean for the personal values. A value is a belief, which means right or wrong, about how something should be, how we should eat, or how we should respect elders, or how we should behave in a public place. So these are some kind of real-time values which we are following it. And there are some examples here given. Examples of value include honesty, respect, responsibility, fairness and kindness to others, which guide societal behavior and decision making. So through the values, our decision is being made by the individuals. The next concept is folkways. The meaning of folkways. Folkways are the accepted ways of behavior. Actually, this concept was first used by sociologist W.G. Sumner in his book Folkways. It is published in 1906. And there are some definitions given by different sociologists. We have the definition of Lernbach. He says that the folkways are the typical or habitual beliefs, attitudes and style of conduct observed within a group or community. Folkways also a form of accepted behavior in the society or in the particular community. And we move to the definition of Gillen and Gillen. He says folkways are behavior patterns of everyday life which generally arise unconsciously in a group. For example, in a group, if we have a leader, eventually a leader will take the power to take a decision or to convey some important messages. So it will happen unconsciously, which means a folkways or the accepted behavior which is happening through in everyday's life unconsciously. Okay, so we have some example here. For example, the ways of eating, talking to elders and talking to our same age group and talking to our youngers. Okay, so we may have some kind of difference with talking based on the age. And dressing, if we go to college, we dress in certain way. If we are going for function, we dress in certain way. Dressing itself shows their behavior of the individual, whether they are westernized or they are following the tradition model. Yes, then the way they play and the way they walk, the way they greeting others. So these are important examples of folkways. The next concept is mores. The word mores is a Latin term and it is represented the ancient Romans most respected and even sacred customs. Mores is the singular form of mores, which means the word considered in the Latin as an important sacred custom of their culture. The term mores was introduced to the sociological literature by Sumner. And there are some definitions given by the different sociologists. We go through the definition of Gillen and Gillen here. Mores are those customs and group routines which are brought by the members of the society to be necessary to the group's continued existence, which means mores also a set of expectation which is formed through the group for their group members. And in the definition of Edward Sapir, the term mores is the best reserved for those customs which cannot fairly strong feeling of the rightness or wrongness of mode of behaviors. According to his definition, he is talking about the mode of behavior, whether you are having a good behavior or you are having a bad, which means right behavior or the wrong behavior. For example, we have respecting elders. Respecting elders we consider as a right behavior, and disrespecting elders we consider as a worst behavior. And we have the example of speaking truth. Speaking truth we consider as a right behavior, and speaking lie we consider as a wrong behavior. So likewise we have mores. More or the important part of sociological concept because it stresses the acceptable way of behaviors in the society. We could not decline that kind of behavior, which means we have to follow those kind of behaviors in the society compulsorily. In simple word, let us understand mores into deeper. So mores in sociology, they refer, it is a society's most deeply held rules that often carry a moral connotation dictating what is considered significantly right or wrong. So which means mores means the considered accepted way of behaving the individuals or behavior of the individuals. According to the theoretical perspective, mores arise when groups live together long enough to develop shared understandings about how members should behave. For example, if we are new to the group, we cannot understand their mores. We have to sustain in that group for a longer period so that we can able to consider their norms. For example, we can able to consider their traditional values and their religious perspective and so on. For example, here we have respect of life, which means it comes under killing or harming other is seen as morally wrong. We have to respect others' life. We should not kill or harm anybody. We are not having any rights to kill others and harm others at any point of time. A second example, honesty. We consider honesty is acceptable. If you are not honesty to the other individual, it is unacceptable. We can talk about marriage also. Say in a marriage life, extramarital affair are generally viewed as a moral violation, which means we are violating the marriage rules. So if you have married one person, you have to be there with that person. Okay, and if you have any problem with that person, it should be dealt legally. You should not go for any kind of extramarital affairs. And theft, so taking someone else property is seen as morally wrong. You have to use your own property. Otherwise, if you need to use some others property, if you are in the need, you have to take permission to use their properties. We are not allowed to take their property as our own property. Let us discuss about difference between folkways and mores. Folkways are the behavior pattern of routine life rising unconsciously in a group. I hope you will be remembered about the example I have shared in the previous slide. So unconsciously we follow the leaders' rules and regulation. Unconsciously we follow the eating pattern, how the way we have to behave. So these are unconscious one, which means it arises in our day-to-day life. It's a kind of routine thing. We follow them in everyday's life. Mores means custom which determine the right and wrong mode of behavior. Folkways can be acceptable if you miss something, which means, for example, in a way of eating, every individual will follow their own thing. But if you miss something in that particular way, it may not be considered in a more crucious way. But in mores, you have to follow certain things which, for example, you should not kill others. If you do that, you will be punished legally. Yes, and if you are talking about folkways, it do not imply values judgment about mores. So if you are talking about mores, it's a judgment based values, and folkway is not a judgment based value because it's a kind of informal thing which we follow. But mores are the formal expected thing which we have to follow in all the societies, and folkways are less effective than mores, whereas mores are very effective in the society. Folkways less deeply rooted in society, but mores are it's rooted very deeply in the society. Folkways change rapidly and mores change less frequently. Thank you. Thank you so much.